Ms. Jan, would you do the honor of taking the vote for us on this? Allow you to serve as secretary.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a little different. I apologize.
Carvickers Barfield,
Yes.
Sharon Hunt, not here. Janie Oxendine McFarland.
Present.
James B. Hunt.
Here.
Ted
Yes,
Woodell,
I'm sorry.
Yes.
Jared Lowry.
Yes.
Larry Chavis.
Yes.
Douglas Locklear.
Yes.
Reginald Oxendine.
Yes.
Jan Lowry. Yes. Alvin Mercer.
Here. Yes.
Corbin Eddings.
Yes.
Dewey McNeil.
Yes.
Marshall Locklear.
Yes.
Frank Cooper. Annie Taylor.
Yes.
Michael Chavis. Ricky Burnett. Terry Hunt.
Yes.
Passes.
I apologize for the redundancy in that. Ms. Jan now can officially serve as our secretary for this evening. So without any further ado, we'll now do a roll call vote for tonight.
Carvickers Barfield.
Here.
Sharon Hunt. Janie Oxendine McFarland.
Here.
James B. Hunt.
Here.
Ted Woodell.
Here.
Jared Lowry.
Here.
Larry Chavis.
Present.
Doug Locklear.
Here.
Reginald Oxendine.
Here.
Jan Lowry. Here. Alvin Mercer.
Here.
Corbin Eddings.
Here.
Dewey McNeil.
Here.
Marshall Locklear.
Here.
Frank Cooper. Absent. Annie Taylor.
Here.
Michael Chavis. Absent. Ricky Burnett. Absent. Terry Hunt.
Here.
You have a quorum.
We do have a quorum. I'll now read the ethics statement. It states as follows. In accordance with the Ethics and Conflict of Interest Ordinance 2010-03-1201, it is the duty of every council member to avoid both conflicts of interest and the appearance of a conflict of interest with regard to any matter before the council today. Does any council member have a known conflict of interest or any perceived conflict of interest with respect to any matter coming before the council today? If so, please refrain from participation in those particular deliberations during the meeting. Having that taken care of, I would like to welcome everybody out this evening. Thank you so much for being with us. Thank you to fellow council members for being here tonight. Thank you to the soccer team for being here. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for being with us this evening, as well as administration and staff. Do we have any former council members in the audience tonight? Okay, looks like we don't. Any retired military veterans in the audience with us this evening? Thank you, folks, for being here. Thank you for your service. Next on our agenda is the review and approval of tonight's agenda. What's the pleasure of the group?
And, Mr. Speaker, I motion to review and approve the agenda.
Second.
We have a motion to approve and a second. Roll call vote, please. I apologize. Trying to lengthen things tonight, I guess. We'll do a roll call vote. All those in favor of approving the agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Agenda passes. Next up is the review and approval of the September Tribal Council minutes and actions. What's the pleasure of the group?
Mr. Speaker.
I'll make a motion to approve September's tribal council meetings and actions.
Motion to approve and a second from Ms. Taylor. All those in favor, let me know by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Next up is the review and approval of the October special called meeting minutes and actions.
Speaker, make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second by Representative Hunt. All those in favor, let me know by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, everyone. Next up, our chairman, Harvey Godwin Jr., will be doing a presentation of the PSA United from the Pembroke Soccer Association. I'll turn it over to you at this time, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Corbin Eddings. Council, good to see you all here tonight. All membership Good to see you here tonight. Um, I guess it was when this young man right here, his name is KJ, and this is his father, Kevin Locklear. Um, I've known KJ since he was in the fourth grade. What are you in now? Eighth? Eighth grade. So I've known you for 4 years. The first time I met him, we had a fundraiser at the Performing Arts Center at UNCP, and it was Charlie Brown Christmas by Mr. Benoit and David Benoit, and he played the music and he brought in kids from the schools. There were some from Prospect, there were some from Pembroke, from the grade school, and put this chorus together. So when he came, they did the chorus, and when you watch Charlie Brown Christmas show, you hear the children in the background singing. Well, they did the singing, and afterwards, well, I noticed him on stage, but they were just so beautiful. Different schools singing together, united with a beautiful voice, and didn't have it. You rehearsed for a while, but that one night they only got to actually practice it with the composer, with not with the composer, but the pianist that was there doing the music, and it was wonderful. It was a great night, and that's when I first met KJ. So ever since I've seen him since then, we've been close friends, and he always comes up and gives me a big hug, and um, it's just been a blessing to me to know a young man like this. And now with his soccer team, I didn't even know he played soccer till I guess about a year ago, and I met you outside the Minuteman down there, and found out you had traveling soccer with your father. And that's another thing. We got the kids here tonight. We'll bring you up in a minute to be recognized, but what the parents do and all the work that you do and all the sacrifices that you made and you make on a daily basis to get these pockets of success for our young people is just phenomenal. And I want to recognize y'all tonight on the sacrifices that you make, because every one of these kids is a leader and helping our schools be better, helping our community be better, helping our relationships just in humanity be better. And I guess that's why you call yourselves United Six. So tonight I want to recognize this team and the great things that they have done. And KJ, I just want to tell you, you're a blessing to me, and I'm just looking forward to what you're going to be. And I hope I live long enough to see all the things that you're going to accomplish in the next 25 years. But you're already doing it. You're already doing it. And one of the things we suffer with in Lumbee land is self-esteem, especially amongst our young people. But this is self-esteem building that you parents and coaches are helping do with our young people. So God bless you for that. So as it reads, 2019 proclamation for PSA United 6. Whereas the Pembroke Soccer Association Team United Six participated in the 2019 State Games of America held this summer in Lynchburg, Virginia. And whereas PSA United Six won a gold medal in SGA outdoor soccer. And whereas PSA United 06 demonstrated focus, determination, and excellent execution to remain undefeated in the four-game weekend tournament. And whereas the members of 2019 PSA United 6 team are Kevin Locklear, KJ, Mario Robles Mendoza, Mark Ramirez Alvado, Marcos Abera, Diego Angeles Chavis, Jace Jacobs, Bryson Franklin, Daniel Hunt, Angel Robles Mendoza, Mason McGirt, Kevin Oxendine II, Corbin Walton, Jordan Cheatham, Seth Locklear, Jackson Brooks, Dakota Hunt, and Makey, did I pronounce that right? Micaiah? That's spelled. Micaiah Manyweather. And now, therefore, be it proclaimed by the chairman of the Lumbee Tribe of North Carolina that PSA United 6 underscore United be recognized and honored for their outstanding performance and sportsmanship in the 2019 State Games of America. Thank you so much, and God bless you. So we're going to bring all the team up and the coaches, and I want to recognize our tribal administrator, Dr. Frida Porter, programs manager, Tammy Maynor. Thank you for the great work you're doing. You know, we just had UNC Chapel Hill busload in here with teachers and department heads and the chancellor himself from UNC Chapel Hill looking at the programs in our Lumbee tribe and all that we do here at the Lumbee tribe. and they would have been honored to meet you young men for what you've accomplished. And they're here for you, for your future, to develop opportunities for our Lumbee kids and our local kids, working together, united, to make our place a better place to live. And I'd like the council members from District 6 and 7 come down. Corbin, let's get a picture with them and just stand in place. I got a little gift for you.
We just want to show them some appreciation from the team.
So this is a team picture. All right, thank you. So let me give you one little gift. Can you help me, please? We got a little cap for you. When you go outside, stand outside and wait. I'll get it for you. Anybody else? You want to try to get something for you? Thank you all. Great job. I'm looking forward to what you're going to do this coming season. Thank you, coaches and parents. God bless you.
Thanks again to the coaches and the parents. They may not realize it right now, but they're doing a lot more than playing soccer with those young men. Next on our agenda are community comments, and we don't have any this evening. Next up will be our committee reports, and the first committee we'll hear from this evening is the Constitution and Ordinance Committee. Dr. Reginald Oxendine. Dr. Oxendine, I'll turn it over to you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Eddings. You notice in your packet, Constitution Ordinance has been hard at work trying to appoint various officials for various appointments that we have available, and we see 3 tonight, 2 election board and 1 administrative court appointment that we're bringing to the full council. If you'll look at your packet, we have CLLR 2019 N1701. Election Board alternate appointment for districts 1, 2, and 12. And I'll just read the fourth whereas and therefore. It says, whereas the tribal council creating an ordinance defining election board districts, and therefore be it resolved that the tribal council of the Lumbee tribe of North Carolina does hereby appoint Mr. Kenny Berry as an alternate to the Tribal Elections Board to represent Tribal Council Districts 1, 2, and 12.
We've heard the resolution as presented. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, hearing none, We'll ask for a roll call vote for the election board alternate appointment districts 1, 2, and 12 for Mr. Kenny Berry. Madam Secretary.
Carvickus Barfield,
Yes.
Jenny Oxendine McFarland, James B. Hunt,
Yes.
Ted Woodell,
Yes.
Jared Lowry,
No.
Larry Chavis,
No.
Douglas Locklear, Reginald Oxendine,
Yes.
Jan Lowry, yes. Alvin Mercer,
Yes.
Corbin Eddings,
No.
Dewey McNeil,
No.
Marshall Locklear, Frank Cooper, not here. Annie Taylor, Mike Chavis, absent. Ricky Burnett, absent. Terry Hunt.
No.
We have 8 yes, 6 no, 1 abstention, and 5 absent. So motion carry.
Motion passes. We'll move on to the next agenda item. Again, I'll turn it back over to Dr.
Thank you, Mr. Eddings. For the election board alternate appointment for District 6, 8, and 9, CLLR 2019-10-1702. Fourth whereas reads, Tribal Council created an ordinance defining election board districts. Therefore, be it resolved that the Tribal Council of the Lumbee Tribe of North Carolina does hereby appoint Mr. Tommy Cox as an alternate to the Tribal Elections Board to represent Tribal Council District 6, 8, and 9.
Heard the resolution, election board alternate appointment for District 6, 8, and 9 for Mr. Tommy Cox. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, hearing none, we'll conduct a roll call vote. Madam Secretary.
Okay. Carvickus Barfield,
Yes.
Janie Oxendine McFarland, James B. Hunt,
Yes.
Ted Woodell,
Yes.
Jared Lowry,
Yes.
Larry Chavis,
Yes.
Doug Locklear, Reginald Oxendine,
Yes?
Jan Lowry, no. Alvin Mercer,
No.
Corbin Eddings,
Yes.
Dewey McNeil,
Yes.
Marshall Locklear,
Yes.
Cooper absent. Annie Taylor, Ricky Burnett absent. Terry Hunt.
Yes.
11 yes, 4 no. Motion carried.
Last resolution again to Dr. Oxendine.
Readings, we have another resolution, CLLR 2019-10-1703, Administrative Court Appointment for Districts 4, 10, 11, and 13. And I'll start from the third whereas. It says, whereas tribal members or those seeking tribal membership are entitled to due process when adverse decisions are made with regards to services and enrollment. Whereas the tribal council created an ordinance establishing administrative court, and therefore be it resolved that the tribal council of the Lumbee Tribe of North Carolina does hereby appoint Mr. Christopher Locklear to the administrative court to represent tribal council districts 4, 10, 11, and 13.
Heard the resolution, administrative court appointments for districts 4, 10, 11, and 13. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, hearing none, we'll ask for a roll call vote at this time.
Carvickus Barfield,
Yes.
Sharon Hunt absent. Janie Oxendine McFarland, James B. Hunt,
Yes.
Ted Woodell,
Yes.
Jared Lowry,
Yes.
Larry Chavis, Douglas Locklear, Reginald Oxendine,
Yes.
Jan Lowry, yes. Alvin Mercer, Corbin Eddings,
Yes.
Dewey McNeil,
Yes.
Marshall Locklear,
Yes.
Cooper absent. Annie Taylor, Michael Chavis absent. Ricky Burnett absent. Terry Hunt,
Yes.
motion carried.
All three motions carried this evening. Unfortunately, Mr. Kenny Berry and Mr. Tommy Cox were not able to be with us for their swearing in. However, we do have Mr. Christopher Locklear in the audience with us, as well as our chief judge on the Lumbee Tribal Supreme Court. So if they'd like to step forward at this time.
Joshua Malcolm, the Chief Justice of the Lumbee Tribe Supreme Court. On behalf of the other court members, we're honored to administer this oath. You would raise your right hand. This is an appointment to the Administrative Court of the Lumbee Tribe of North Carolina. This is the oath of office. I state your full name.
I, Christopher Marvin Locklear,
Do solemnly affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the Lumbee Tribe of North Carolina,
the Constitution of the Lumbee Tribe of North Carolina,
that I will carry out faithfully
that I will carry out faithfully
and impartially
and impartially
the duties of my office
the duties of my office
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
that I will preserve for all time
that I will preserve for all time
the Lumbee way of life and community,
the Lumbee way of life and community,
and that I will promote educational,
I will promote educational,
cultural,
cultural,
social,
social,
and economic well-being
and economic well-being
of the Lumbee tribe,
of the Lumbee tribe,
and that I will strive
and I will strive
to secure justice
to secure justice
and freedom for the Lumbee people.
and freedom for the Lumbee people.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Mr. Malcolm, and thank you, Mr. Locklear. Moving forward, we have one additional item on the agenda from the Economic Development Committee, a resolution, and I'll turn that over to the chair at this time, Mr. Jared.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. CLLR 2019-101704, resolution authorizing Lumbee Tribal Holdings to create two corporations. We can go down to the last whereas. Whereas Lumbee Tribal Holdings is a wholly owned company of the Lumbee people to further create economic opportunities, development for the Lumbee people. Therefore, be it resolved, the Tribal Council of Lumbee Tribe hereby authorizes Lumbee Tribal Holdings to have the ability to create two 8A corporations of construction 236220 and facilities management 561210. Therefore, be it further resolved, the Board of Lumbee Tribal Holdings will update the Tribal Council on each step of creating these two 8A corporations.
You've heard the resolution authorizing Lumbee Tribal Holdings to create two corporations. Do we have any discussion? Ms. Lowry.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to request a parliamentary inquiry. I know when Jared had his committee meeting, he did not have a quorum. And there were council members who were part of that committee that had not been attending meetings. And so at that meeting, he dismissed at least, I believe, 3 of those members, and then looked around the room and asked for 3 volunteers and went ahead and put them on his committee. So I would like a point of parliamentary inquiry about the way that was conducted in the committee meeting.
Mr. Speaker, on, on that behalf, he did not dismiss nobody off the committee. He just added 3 more where he could have a committee. And at that point, if there was any problems at that point, it should have came forth that night, not wait till the night to bring it forth, say it was out of order, because it passed that night. So I don't have no problem of it being on the agenda tonight for a vote.
Mr. Speaker.
Marlon.
I have to agree with Jan. It was out of order. You don't select the people in the audience as the members of the council to be added on no committee. If a quorum's not established, it's supposed to be called and canceled if you don't have a quorum. Now, I think our chairperson has been in that seat long enough to know that. And we also had a parliamentarian that night that made the motion, and nobody had a chance to even speak up.
Mr. Manil.
If that was an issue that night at the committee meeting, why was roll even taken that night? And who was the secretary that night for the economic development meeting?
I was the secretary, and I was sitting over here shaking my head the whole time, and y'all ignores me like you always do. I sure did. I'm not the chair of that
Let's keep
speaker.
it in order, folks. Keep it in order, folks. Any
Speaker.
other comments?
Mr. Speaker, if you will, our rules, our duties and decorum, Section 3, states that all interested Lumbee Tribal Council members are encouraged to attend committee meetings. Committee membership shall be chosen on a voluntary basis. That night, as chairman, I asked if there was any members who would like to voluntarily join the committee. Nothing in our rules states that there is a time limit. Rather, it has to be done in the first month or first 2 months. And so we followed the rules in how we select committee membership. And that night, there was more interest to join the committee.
Any other comments?
Yes. First of all, the chair of the person, we have a constitution, and then if nothing is in that constitution, we go to our decorum. If nothing's in that decorum, we go to our Robert's Rules of Order. And if you want me to pass this down and let our parliamentarian read it, I'll be more than glad to.
Any other comments? Ms. Lowry.
I would like to call a point of order. The way that was handled, what he is saying is correct in the rules. But what Robert Rules of Order say, if you do not have a quorum, you can go out and find your members if they're in the hallway, or you can get on the phone and call them and have them come in to have a quorum. But if you do not have a quorum, you are supposed to shut that committee meeting down, and that did not happen. So the rules of a quorum of a committee were violated.
Any other comments from anyone who hasn't spoken?
Mr. Speaker, I realize that I was not at that meeting, but I do recognize that the night before that, we were having a health meeting and Constitution orders. We did not have a quorum. We had to wait till someone come in so we could make a quorum. We sat for 30 minutes, and someone finally came in. We did make a quorum at that point. We didn't have any additional members put on the Constitution Orders Committee. I would suggest that we send this back until we can do it correctly.
Sure.
And I know this is an important step in the tribal councils moving forward with these 8A, but that would be my suggestion.
Chairman,
Mr. Hunt.
was that a motion? I'd like to make a motion that we send it back to the committee.
I second.
Coming out of committee, we do have before us this resolution. So we'll either vote this resolution up or vote it down. Voting it down would send it back to committee. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes.
Mr. Hunt.
yes or no vote to send it back to
Do we have a motion on the floor and has it been seconded?
Yes.
What, restate the
Motion.
motion.
I make a motion that we send it back to the committee.
And who's the second?
I did.
So that's what we're voting on. Is that correct?
Mr. Hunt, that's a substitute motion, right? It's got to be a substitute motion. We already got a motion on the floor that's right here in the package. Yeah, that's a substitute motion.
What's the motion? What's the original?
Motion is that we send this back
No,
to committee.
he's trying
and
to
then
say
a
that's the secretary motion. What's the original motion?
The resolution came from committee. This
Oh,
is the
okay.
original. So, we had a motion that came out of committee to start the corporations. There were some questions. We now have a motion to send it back to committee. We have a second. Is there any discussion on the substitute motion to send this back?
I have a question.
Mr. Hunt?
I also think we need to send it back to committee, because I've got a lot of questions on it myself.
Mrs. Baker, if this is voted to go back to the committee, I would advise the majority of the people that was not here to be at the next meeting. Because this is a very important resolution that needs to be addressed, and everybody needs to understand what they're voting for.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, hearing none. Madam Secretary, roll call vote on a
Now, a yes vote here sends it back to committee.
yes. Roll call vote, yes, to send it back to committee. Substitute motion to send it back to committee. Madam Secretary.
Carvickus Farfield? Yes. Janie Oxendine McFarland?
Yes.
James B. Hunt?
Yes?
Ted Woodell?
Yes.
Jared Lowry?
Yes.
Larry Chavis? Douglas Locklear? Okay. Reginald Oxendine?
Yes.
Jan Lowry? Yes. Alvin Mercer? Corbin Eddings?
Yes.
Dewey McNeil?
Yes.
Marshall Locklear?
Yes.
Annie Taylor?
Yes.
Terry Hunt?
Yes.
Okay. Motion carried.
As the substitute motion passed to send this back to committee, we need to now go into the original motion. Next up on the agenda is calendar review.
Mr. Speaker,
Ms. McFarland.
I would like to schedule a finance meeting Monday night at 6:30,
That's the 21st.
the 21st.
And is that a committee meeting or work session?
That's a committee meeting, finance committee meeting.
Finance at 6:30. I would like to, if I could, put LNTP on the agenda for that evening at 7:30. Anyone else? Folks are comparing calendars. I will mention there is a Lumbee Genealogy Symposium out at UNC Pembroke. That is on the 24th and 25th. You can register for that online at uncp.edu or also by calling the university. And I do understand we'll have some of the cast and crew from Lumbee's Ladies of the Dark Water participating in that, as well as one of our own council members, I believe, Mr. Frank Cooper, participating in that as well. And that again is the 24th and 25th of October. This weekend, there is the Waccamaw on Powwow, which is Friday and Saturday over in Bolton. Any committee meetings to add to the calendar at this point? Dr. Oxendine.
On the 28th, that is a work session, CNO work session on the 28th.
Yes, sir.
And that's probably going to be a lengthy work session. But I would like to schedule a constitution ordinance meeting after that work session for that same night.
We've got a work session at 6:30. At the conclusion of that, a Constitution and Ordinance Committee meeting.
Yes. Say, we'll say, 8:30, 8:30 for that.
Anyone else?
Speaker.
Ms. McFarland.
I would like to schedule some budget work sessions for Ms. Sharon Hunt, and if she wants to change those, then she can contact, the secretary and change those.
Those dates?
Let's start with the 7th.
One thing. Are we through with October? Come back, let us know. But moving forward, November the 7th. That's a finance work session at 6:30.
Yes, and on the 14th, well, it's a work session, so let's try the 14th. Six thirty.
Monday, November 4th, Health Committee, 6:30.
Housing, no,
Housing from Ms. Taylor at 7:30 on the 4th. Anything else I'm missing? Okay, looks like just as a quick recap, on the 21st, Finance at 6:30, LNTP at 7:30. On the 28th, Constitution and Ordinance Work Session at 6:30. At 8:30, the committee meeting. Moving into November, on the 4th, 6:30 is Health, 7:30 is Housing. On the 7th is a Finance Work Session. The 11th is Veterans Day. I had to throw that in. Make sure you thank a veteran. The 12th is our tribal elections. On the 14th, we have a finance work session. Again, that is 6:30. If there is nothing else to add to the calendar, I am open for a motion.
Let me, Speaker,
Ms. McFarland.
I hate to say this again, but please, everybody try to be here Monday night. If possible, try to be here because this is also an important meeting and we need to do our business.
With an exclamation point. We have a motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor, please stand. Mr. Doug, if you would, close us out with a benediction this evening, sir.
Father God, we thank you once again for allowing us to wait tonight. Father God, as we depart this way tonight, Father God, I ask you for traveling grace as we travel back home. And Father God, as not let the council tonight, Father God, as the courthouse they are tonight, Father God, keep them safe where they at. Father God, as we leave tonight, Father God, as we all got troubles in our homes, our communities, Father God, I ask you to touch them in a mighty way, Father God, as Sister Sharon tonight, Father God, as she had death in her family this week, do that family, dear Lord, in a mighty way as you see fit. Lift them up, dear Lord, let them make it there. Father God, not only just her family, dear Lord, there's so many other ones tonight, dear Lord. Brother Terry's wife, Father God, fighting the battle she's facing, dear Lord. I ask you to touch her, dear Lord, in a mighty way as you see fit as well. Because, Lord, it's sure, Father God, on this side of life, dear Lord, the body goes through things. But, Father God, when joy comes in the morning, Father God, you be well with their souls. But, Father God, we thank you once again. Thank you for what's been said and done tonight. And hope everything is said in decent order. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Meeting's adjourned. You folks have a great evening. Thanks for being here.
Now.